Cleaning products promise a spotless home and a healthier life. But for seniors, what's lurking under those kitchen sinks could be doing more harm than good. From products linked to respiratory failure to chemicals banned in Europe. But legal here, the dangers are real. Today, we're exposing 11 cleaning products you need to avoid immediately and revealing the two that won't betray your trust or your health. Coming in at number 11, we've got Clorox Disinfecting Wipes, marketed as the ultimate germ killer, trusted in millions of American homes. But here's what they don't advertise. These wipes contain quaternary ammonium compounds, or quats, which studies link to respiratory issues, skin irritation, and even asthma flare-ups. For seniors already on inhalers or heart medications, repeated exposure can trigger breathing difficulties you might mistake for a cold or allergy. The EPA has raised concerns about quats disrupting hormone function, yet Clorox still plasters kills 99.9% of germs across every package. You wipe down your counters thinking you're protecting yourself, but you're actually coating surfaces with chemicals that linger for hours. Seniors with compromised immune systems or chronic lung conditions are especially vulnerable. The smooth, cool wipe feels reassuring in your hand, but the fumes seep into your airways with every swipe. What's worse, these wipes often leave a sticky residue that requires rinsing. But how many people actually do that? The label says disinfectant, but your lungs might say danger. And for those taking blood pressure medication, the stress of breathing issues can spike your numbers fast. Research from 2019 showed that healthcare workers using quats regularly had a 35% higher rate of developing occupational asthma. You trusted that green canister to protect your family. Instead, it's been slowly compromising your respiratory system one wipe at a time. That chemical smell that hangs in the air after cleaning isn't cleanliness you're smelling. It's volatile organic compounds off-gassing from the surface. For seniors with reduced lung capacity or on supplemental oxygen, every breath in a room just wiped with Clorox is a struggle your body didn't sign up for. The texture of the wipe feels thick and durable, giving you confidence in its cleaning power. But that same durability means the chemical coating is concentrated, releasing more fumes with each pass across your counter. Environmental Working Group testing found that quats can remain active on surfaces for up to 7 days, continuing to release vapors long after you've finished cleaning. Your kitchen might look spotless, but the air quality has plummeted. For seniors taking calcium channel blockers or ACE inhibitors for blood pressure, the respiratory stress from these fumes can counteract your medication's benefits, forcing your heart to work harder than it should. At number 10, Febreze Air Effects enters the scene. Promises to eliminate odors and freshen your home with just a spray. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. Febreze contains phthalates, chemicals used to make fragrances last longer, but they've been linked to hormone disruption, reproductive issues, and even increased risk of diabetes. For seniors managing blood sugar or thyroid conditions, this is a hidden sabotage. The spray releases a fine mist that you inhale immediately, coating your nasal passages and lungs. Studies show that phthalates can interfere with medications, particularly those for heart disease and hypertension. The company markets this as light and breezy, but toxicology reports tell a darker story. Seniors using Febreze daily in small, poorly ventilated spaces like bathrooms or bedrooms are essentially marinating their lungs in synthetic fragrance chemicals. The floral or fresh linen scent masks the danger, but your endocrine system doesn't get fooled. And here's the kicker. Febreze doesn't actually eliminate odors. It just covers them up with more chemicals. For seniors with allergies, asthma, or COPD, every spray is a gamble. A 2020 study found that indoor air fresheners contributed to volatile organic compound levels that exceeded safe thresholds in 75% of homes tested. The bottle promises freshness, but delivers a chemical cocktail you never asked for. Your nose might enjoy the scent, but your pancreas and thyroid are working overtime trying to process toxins they were never designed to handle. The mist settles on furniture, curtains, and carpets, creating a layer of phthalates that you touch every day. For seniors with thin skin or sensitivity to chemicals, this constant contact can cause rashes or dermatitis. The satisfying spray sound makes you feel like you're accomplishing something, but what you're really doing is polluting your indoor air. A study from Duke University found that air fresheners release over 100 different chemicals, many of which aren't listed on the label. For seniors taking multiple medications, these unlisted chemicals become wildcards that can interact with your prescriptions in unpredictable ways. The pretty bottle with its cheerful colors sits on your bathroom counter, looking innocent. But every time you press that trigger, you're dosing yourself with endocrine disruptors that accumulate in your fatty tissues over time. The cool mist feels refreshing as it disperses through the room, but within minutes that mist has coated every surface, including your skin and lungs. For diabetics taking metformin or insulin, phthalate exposure has been shown to interfere with glucose metabolism. potentially undermining your careful blood sugar management. How does an air freshener stay popular for decades while poisoning indoor air quality? Now, at number 9, Lysol disinfectant spray makes its appearance. Another household name that's been around for generations, trusted to kill germs on contact. But Lysol's active ingredient, benzalkonium chloride, is a known respiratory irritant and skin sensitizer. The CDC has documented cases of chemical burns and lung inflammation linked to overuse of Lysol, particularly in enclosed spaces. Seniors who spray this in their kitchens, bathrooms, or bedrooms without proper ventilation are inhaling a mist that settles deep into lung tissue. For those on oxygen therapy or with emphysema, this can trigger severe coughing fits or shortness of breath. The label warns to use in well-ventilated areas, but how many seniors actually open windows in winter or run fans while cleaning? The smell is sharp, almost medicinal, which tricks you into thinking it's working. But that harsh scent is a warning sign, your body reacting to airborne irritants. Studies have shown that prolonged exposure to benzalkonium chloride can weaken your immune response over time, making you more susceptible to the very infections you're trying to prevent. The irony is cruel. Lysol markets itself as a protector, but for seniors with weakened lungs or heart conditions, it's a silent saboteur. And if you're mixing Lysol with other cleaners, you're creating a chemical reaction that can produce toxic fumes. Poison control centers reported a 20% increase in calls related to disinfectant spray exposure among adults over 65 in 2023. The trust you place in that blue can might be the very thing harming you. The aerosol hiss as you spray feels powerful, like you're deploying serious germ-fighting technology. But that mist hangs in the air for minutes, meaning you're breathing it in long after you've left the room. For seniors recovering from surgery or undergoing cancer treatment, this chemical exposure can delay healing and compromise already fragile immune systems. The can feels cold and substantial in your hand, a reassuring weight that suggests quality and effectiveness. Yet consumer testing has found that simpler solutions like soap and water often work just as well without the toxic side effects. For those with heart arrhythmias, the respiratory irritation from Lysol can trigger palpitations and irregular heartbeats that send you to the emergency room. Your doctor treats the symptoms, never knowing that your cleaning spray is the real culprit. The wet sheen it leaves on surfaces looks clean and germ-free, but that wetness is actually a film of quaternary ammonium compounds that will continue off-gassing for hours. For seniors on corticosteroids for autoimmune conditions, this additional immune stress can trigger flare-ups that seem to come out of nowhere. At number 8, we have Scrubbing Bubbles Bathroom Cleaner. The commercials show those cute little bubbles scrubbing away soap scum while you relax. Reality is far less cheerful. Scrubbing Bubbles contains butyl salicylic, a solvent linked to liver and kidney damage. For seniors already managing kidney disease or taking medications processed by the liver, this is a direct threat. The aerosol spray propels fine droplets into the air, which you breathe in as you scrub. The sweet chemical smell might seem tolerable at first, but prolonged exposure can cause dizziness, headaches, and nausea. The EPA classifies butyl telosol as a hazardous substance, yet it's sold freely in grocery stores nationwide. Seniors using this weekly in small bathrooms are essentially hotboxing themselves with toxic fumes. The product promises no scrubbing required, but what it doesn't tell you is that the chemicals doing the work are also doing damage to your internal organs. For those on blood thinners or statins, the liver strain from inhaling these solvents can interfere with medication effectiveness. The foam looks harmless, even playful, but your kidneys don't see it that way. And if you have sensitive skin, direct contact can cause burns or rashes that take weeks to heal. In 2022, dermatologists reported a 40% uptick in chemical contact dermatitis among older adults, with bathroom cleaners being a leading cause. The betrayal here is profound. A product designed to make cleaning easier ends up making your health harder. The thick blue foam clings to your shower walls, making you feel like it's really working deep into the grime. But as it clings and fizzes, those solvents are evaporating directly into your breathing space. For seniors with reduced kidney function or those on dialysis, even small amounts of absorbed butyl salicylic can accumulate to dangerous levels because your kidneys can't filter it efficiently. The commercial jingle is catchy, and the animated bubbles are adorable, creating a false sense of safety. But occupational health data shows that professional cleaners exposed to these solvents regularly have significantly higher rates of liver enzyme abnormalities. The spray trigger is easy to press, making it accessible for seniors with arthritis. But that accessibility means you're more likely to use it frequently, compounding your exposure. The scent lingers in your bathroom for hours after cleaning, which you might think is a sign of lasting cleanliness. In reality, it's ongoing chemical exposure. For those taking medications like warfarin or other drugs metabolized by the liver, this constant low-level solvent exposure can alter how your body processes these critical medications. Isn't it strange how cleaning products with chemicals banned in Europe are still on American shelves? Stick around. We'll reveal which ones are the worst offenders and what you can do about it at the very end. Coming in at number 7, Windex Original Glass Cleaner demands attention. Blue liquid, streak-free shine, and a scent that screams clean. But Windex contains ammonia, a powerful irritant that can damage your respiratory system with repeated exposure. For seniors with asthma, COPD, or any lung condition, ammonia fumes are a direct assault on your airways. The chemical evaporates quickly, meaning you're inhaling it within seconds of spraying. Studies show that ammonia exposure can cause chronic bronchitis and worsen existing respiratory conditions. The company advertises crystal clear windows, but they're silent about the cloud of toxic vapor you're breathing in. Seniors often use Windex in enclosed spaces, cleaning mirrors in bathrooms with the door closed, wiping down kitchen windows without ventilation. The sharp, biting smell is your body's warning system telling you to stop. Most people push through, thinking it's just the smell of clean. For those on heart medication, the respiratory distress caused by ammonia can spike blood pressure and heart rate. The label says avoid inhaling vapors, but unless you're wearing a respirator, that's nearly impossible. And if you accidentally mix Windex with bleach, you create a toxic gas that can cause permanent lung damage or death. The American Association of Poison Control Centers fielded over 3,000 calls in 2023 related to ammonia-based cleaners, with seniors representing nearly half of those cases. The trust you place in that blue bottle might be slowly eroding your respiratory health. Every spray is a gamble, every wipe a potential trigger for breathing problems that could land you in the emergency room. The liquid is thin and watery, which makes it spread easily across glass surfaces. But that thin consistency also means it evaporates rapidly, releasing ammonia gas directly into your face as you clean. For seniors with reduced hair production or dry eyes, ammonia vapor causes immediate burning and tearing that can be excruciating. The streak-free formula contains additional surfactants that break down grease effectively, but these same chemicals can irritate your skin if you're not wearing gloves. Many seniors clean windows bare-handed, absorbing these chemicals through their skin. For those with peripheral neuropathy from diabetes, you might not even feel the skin irritation until it's become a serious chemical burn. The bright blue color looks clean and pure, almost like tropical water. But that artificial coloring serves no cleaning purpose. It's just marketing psychology designed to make you trust the product. The satisfying squeaky sound of cleaning glass with Windex feels rewarding, conditioning you to use it more often. But each use means another exposure to ammonia fumes. For seniors on beta blockers for heart conditions or blood pressure, the respiratory irritation can cause compensatory breathing changes that stress your cardiovascular system unnecessarily. At number 6, Pine Sol Original Multi-Surface Cleaner enters the conversation. That strong pine scent evokes memories of grandma's house, clean floors, and fresh starts. But Pine Sol's formula contains glycolic acid and pine oil, both of which can cause severe skin burns and respiratory irritation. The 2024 recall of over 37 million bottles due to bacterial contamination should have been a wake-up call. But many seniors still trust the brand. For those with diabetes or poor circulation, even minor skin contact can lead to infections that don't heal properly. The thick, amber liquid looks harmless, almost like honey, but it's anything but sweet. Seniors mopping floors with Pine Sol in poorly ventilated rooms are inhaling fumes that can trigger coughing fits, dizziness, and nausea. For those on immunosuppressants or chemotherapy, the bacterial contamination risk is life-threatening. The company promised that clean, fresh scent, but delivered bottles contaminated with Pseudomonas aeruginosa, a bacteria that causes serious infections in vulnerable populations. The betrayal cuts deep. A product you trusted for decades suddenly becomes a vector for illness. And the pine scent itself is often synthetic, loaded with additional chemicals that stress your liver and kidneys. For seniors with kidney disease, this is a toxic double punch. The floor might look clean, but the air you're breathing and the residue on your hands tell a different story. Your immune system, already working overtime, doesn't need the added burden of fighting off bacteria from a cleaning product. The thick consistency pours slowly from the bottle, giving you the impression of a concentrated, powerful formula. And it is powerful, but not in the way you want. The glycolic acid that makes it effective at cutting through dirt and grease is the same ingredient used in chemical peels, strong enough to burn through layers of skin. For seniors whose skin has thinned with age, this is especially dangerous. Direct contact can cause burns that penetrate deeper than you'd expect from a household cleaner. The recall affected products sold between January 2021 and September 2022, meaning millions of households were using contaminated cleaner for over a year. For seniors with weakened immune systems, exposure to Pseudomonas aeruginosa can cause pneumonia, bloodstream infections, or surgical site infections if you had any recent procedures. The bacteria thrives in moist environments, so your mop bucket becomes a breeding ground. The nostalgic pine scent is achieved through pine oil and synthetic fragrance compounds. Studies show these compounds can trigger asthma attacks and allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. For seniors managing multiple respiratory medications, this additional trigger can push your symptoms over the edge. The amber color and pine scent create powerful associations with cleanliness and nostalgia, making it hard to believe this trusted product could harm you. Want the real truth about what's in your cleaning cabinet? Hit subscribe now so you never get blindsided by hidden chemical dangers. Number 5 on our list is Cascade Complete Eau Dishwasher Detergent. Promises sparkling dishes and no pre-rinse required. But Cascade contains phosphates and chlorine bleach, both of which leave residues on your dishes that you then eat off of. For seniors with sensitive digestive systems or those taking medications for ulcers or gastritis, these residues can cause stomach irritation, nausea, and diarrhea. The phosphates are particularly concerning. They're banned in many states for environmental reasons, but where they're still legal, they're coating your plates and glasses. The powder or gel looks innocuous, but when heated in your dishwasher, it releases fumes that can seep into your kitchen. Seniors who open the dishwasher immediately after a cycle are hit with a blast of hot, chemical-laden steam. For those with lung conditions, this can trigger immediate respiratory distress. The company markets powerful cleaning action, but fails to mention that the action continues on your dishes long after the cycle ends. Studies have shown that dishwasher detergent residues can accumulate in your system over time, potentially interfering with thyroid function and hormone balance. For seniors managing multiple medications, this is yet another variable throwing your health off balance. Testing by the Environmental Working Group found detectable residues on dishes in 68% of households using mainstream dishwasher detergents. And if you have grandchildren visiting, those residues on their sippy cups and bowls are even more dangerous to their developing systems. The sparkling clean dishes hide a layer of chemicals you never consented to consuming. Every meal becomes an unintended dose of synthetic compounds your body struggles to process. The gel formula is bright blue or green, signaling strength and effectiveness. But those artificial colors serve no cleaning purpose. They're designed to make you believe you're getting a premium, powerful product. The thick gel coats your dishes during the wash cycle, and while most of it rinses away, trace amounts remain. For seniors with inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, these trace chemicals can trigger flare-ups. The phosphates in Cascade act as water softeners, helping the detergent work more effectively. But they're also hormone disruptors. For seniors already dealing with thyroid issues or taking levothyroxine, this additional endocrine disruption can make your condition harder to manage. The chlorine bleach component is what gives dishes that sanitized appearance, killing bacteria during the hot wash cycle. But chlorine doesn't fully evaporate or rinse away. It binds to proteins, including the protein residues in food particles and even the ceramic or glass of your dishes. When you eat from these dishes, you're ingesting small amounts of chlorinated compounds. The convenient pod format makes dosing easy, but it also means you're using more concentrated chemicals than necessary. For seniors with reduced saliva production or dry mouth from medications, these chemical residues are more likely to stick to your mouth tissues and get absorbed. At number 4, Comet Disinfectant Cleanser Powder makes the list. That gritty green powder has been scrubbing American sinks and tubs for generations. But Comet contains silica, a known carcinogen when inhaled as dust. For seniors with any history of lung issues, cancer, or smoking, this is particularly dangerous. Every time you shake that canister over your sink, you're creating a cloud of fine particles that settle in your lungs. The abrasive texture feels effective as you scrub, but those same particles are abrading your respiratory system from the inside. The EPA has documented cases of silicosis, a serious lung disease linked to prolonged silica exposure. Seniors using Comet weekly without masks or ventilation are playing Russian roulette with their lung health. The product promises to deodorize as it cleans, but that deodorizer is often chlorine-based, adding another layer of respiratory risk. For those on blood pressure medication, the physical exertion of scrubbing combined with inhaling chlorine and silica can cause dangerous spikes. And the residue left in your sink doesn't fully rinse away. It lingers, continuing to off-gas for hours. The scratchy sound of comet scrubbing might be satisfying, but your lungs are paying the price. For seniors with compromised immune systems, inhaling these particles can lead to infections that take weeks to resolve. Occupational health studies show that workers exposed to silica dust have double the risk of developing chronic respiratory diseases. You're essentially bringing occupational hazards into your home, all for the sake of a shiny sink. The green powder reminds you of cleaning products from childhood, creating a sense of trust and nostalgia. But that powder is composed of crystalline silica particles, each one microscopic and sharp. When you shake the canister, these particles become airborne. They're so fine that they bypass your nose and throat's natural filters, penetrating deep into your lung tissue. For seniors with emphysema or COPD, this is especially catastrophic because your lungs have already lost elasticity and can't effectively clear these particles. The powder's abrasive quality comes from these silica crystals, which physically scratch away soap scum and stains. But as you scrub, more particles become airborne. The harder you scrub, the more you're inhaling. For those on oxygen therapy, your supplemental oxygen can actually carry these particles deeper into your lungs. The chlorine bleach component releases fumes that combine with the silica dust, creating a 1-2 punch to your respiratory system. Chlorine gas, even at low concentrations, causes immediate irritation to mucous membranes. Combined with silica particles, you're experiencing both chemical and particulate damage simultaneously. For seniors taking ACE inhibitors for high blood pressure or heart failure, this respiratory irritation can trigger a persistent dry cough that's often mistaken for a medication side effect. Your doctor might adjust your medication when the real problem is your cleaning product. The satisfaction of seeing the gritty powder turn to paste as you scrub is deeply ingrained in our cleaning culture. But that paste contains concentrated chemicals and abrasives. If you touch it with bare hands, it can cause chemical burns and dermatitis. For seniors with thin skin or those on blood thinners, even minor skin damage can lead to bleeding or infection. Now at number 3, OxiClean Versatile Stain Remover demands a closer look. Marketed as a miracle worker for laundry and general cleaning. But OxiClean's active ingredient is sodium percarbonate, which breaks down into hydrogen peroxide. While that sounds harmless, concentrated exposure can cause severe skin burns, eye damage, and respiratory irritation. Seniors with eczema, psoriasis, or thin skin due to aging are especially vulnerable to chemical burns from contact with OxiClean powder or solution. The powder itself is fine and dusty, easily inhaled when you scoop it or pour it into your washing machine. For those with asthma or COPD, this dust can trigger immediate breathing difficulties. The product promises stain-fighting power, but at what cost? In 2023, poison control centers reported a 15% increase in calls related to OxiClean exposure, particularly among older adults who accidentally splashed the solution or inhaled the powder. For seniors taking corticosteroids or other medications that thin the skin, even brief contact can cause burns that require medical attention. And when mixed with hot water, OxiClean releases oxygen rapidly, creating fumes that can be overwhelming in a small laundry room. The fizzing action looks impressive, almost magical, but it's a chemical reaction you're breathing in. For those managing kidney disease, the stress of processing these chemicals adds unnecessary burden to already compromised organs. The powder clings to fabric fibers too, meaning you're wearing trace amounts of sodium percarbonate against your skin all day. For seniors with sensitive skin conditions, this constant low-level exposure can cause chronic irritation and rashes. The white powder looks pure and clean, reinforcing the perception that it's gentle and safe. But sodium percarbonate is a powerful oxidizer. When it comes into contact with moisture, whether from your hands, the humidity in the air, or water in your washing machine, it immediately begins breaking down into hydrogen peroxide and sodium carbonate. The hydrogen peroxide released is at a much higher concentration than the 3% solution you'd use for minor cuts. We're talking about concentrations that can reach 10% or higher in the immediate area of contact. For seniors with age-related macular degeneration or cataracts, any splash to the eyes can cause severe damage. The sodium carbonate component is highly alkaline, with a pH around 11. This alkalinity is what helps lift stains, but it's also what burns your skin. For diabetics with neuropathy, you might not feel the burning until significant damage has occurred. The scooper that comes with the powder seems convenient, but it ensures you're handling concentrated powder with your bare hands. Each scoop releases a puff of dust that you breathe in. For seniors on inhaled corticosteroids for asthma, this additional irritant can reduce the effectiveness of your medication. The fizzing sound and bubbling action are satisfying, giving you visual feedback that the product is working. But that fizzing is the rapid release of oxygen gas. In a confined space like a small laundry room, this can temporarily reduce oxygen levels and cause lightheadedness. For those with anemia or circulation problems, this oxygen displacement can cause dizziness or fainting. Ever notice how the cheapest cleaning products seem to cause the most health problems? We'll break down the connection at the end of the video and show you what actually works. At number 2, Drano Max Gel Clog Remover earns its troubling position. The go-to solution for clogged drains, promising fast results. But Drano contains sodium hydroxide, also known as lye, one of the most corrosive substances legally sold for home use. For seniors with arthritis or reduced hand strength, the risk of spilling this onto skin is high, and the burns are immediate and severe. The thick gel sits in your pipes, generating heat as it dissolves clogs, and that heat releases caustic fumes up through your drain. Seniors leaning over a sink after pouring Drano are inhaling fumes that can burn the lining of their throat and lungs. Emergency rooms see dozens of cases yearly of seniors who accidentally splashed Drano on themselves or inhaled too much vapor. For those with heart conditions, the panic and pain from such exposure can trigger cardiac events. The product warns do not breathe fumes, but when you're standing right over the drain, that's impossible. And if Drano doesn't fully clear the clog, you're left with a sink full of corrosive chemicals that a plumber then has to deal with, putting both of you at risk. The bottle promises tough on clogs, but it's equally tough on human tissue. For seniors managing diabetes, the healing time for chemical burns is significantly longer, and infection risk skyrockets. Hospital data shows that chemical burns from drain cleaners have a 30% higher complication rate in patients over 65. The trust placed in that bright orange bottle might end in a trip to the ER, with burns that take months to heal and scars that last forever. The thick gel formula is designed to sink through standing water and cling to the clog. This sounds effective, and it is, but that clinging action means it's in contact with your pipes longer, generating heat continuously. This exothermic reaction can heat the gel to temperatures exceeding 200 degrees Fahrenheit. If any of this superheated gel splashes back up, it causes instant deep tissue burns. For seniors with reduced reaction time or mobility issues, you might not be able to move away fast enough. The sodium hydroxide in Drano has a pH of 14, the extreme end of the alkaline scale. Human skin has a pH around 5.5. When these two meet, a chemical reaction occurs that literally dissolves your skin's proteins. It's called saponification, the same process used to make soap, except it's happening to your living tissue. For seniors taking immunosuppressants for autoimmune conditions or after organ transplants, even small burns can become infected easily. The bright orange color of the bottle is designed to signal danger, but it also makes the product easily identifiable on store shelves. This marketing duality sends mixed messages. Is it dangerous, or is it a household staple? The thick consistency feels substantial as you pour it, like you're applying serious chemical power to your problem. And you are, but that power doesn't discriminate between your clog and your tissue. The cap and bottle design claim to be safer, but for seniors with limited dexterity or vision problems, accidents are common. Once opened, the fumes are immediate. Sodium hydroxide reacts with moisture in the air, creating a caustic mist. For those with a history of chemical sensitivities or respiratory conditions, even brief exposure to these fumes can cause long-lasting damage. The instruction to wait 15 to 30 minutes before flushing means those fumes are releasing into your home's air that entire time. For seniors living in small apartments or homes with limited ventilation, you're essentially creating a chemical exposure chamber. Coming in at number 1, Tilex Mold and Mildew Remover takes the top spot, the number 1 offender on our list. Tilex promises to blast away mold and mildew, and it does using sodium hypochlorite, essentially bleach in spray form. But here's what they don't tell you. When bleach contacts mold, it can release mycotoxins into the air, making the problem worse for your health even as it cleans the surface. Seniors with mold allergies, asthma, or immune system issues are walking into a trap every time they spray Tilex in an enclosed bathroom. The fumes are immediate and overpowering, causing burning eyes, throat irritation, and difficulty breathing within seconds. According to the American Association of Poison Control Centers, bleach-based products are among the top causes of household chemical injuries in adults over 65. For seniors on heart medication, the respiratory distress from bleach fumes can cause dangerous, irregular heartbeats. And if you mix Tilex with any other cleaner, ammonia, vinegar, even toilet bowl cleaner, you create chlorine gas, which can be fatal. The spray trigger makes it easy to use, but that ease comes at a terrible cost. The mist settles on your skin, your clothes, and every surface, continuing to off-gas for hours. For seniors with chronic kidney disease, the cumulative effect of repeated bleach exposure stresses organs that are already struggling. The bottle shows a sparkling clean shower, but it can't show the damage being done to your lungs and organs with every spray. Emergency room physicians report that bleach exposure accounts for nearly 8% of all toxic inhalation cases in patients over 60. This is the ultimate betrayal. A product designed to protect your home from mold ends up threatening your life. The spray nozzle releases a fine mist that seems to cover surfaces effortlessly, but that fine mist means you're inhaling it. Droplets so small they penetrate deep into your lungs. For seniors with pulmonary fibrosis or other interstitial lung diseases, this is devastating. The bleach doesn't just sit on mold, it reacts with it. That reaction releases volatile organic compounds and mycotoxins that were previously contained within the mold structure. You're effectively releasing toxins into your breathing space while trying to clean. For those with mold allergies, this can trigger immediate anaphylactic reactions. The chlorine smell is so strong it burns your nostrils and throat on contact. This isn't just unpleasant, it's a sign of tissue damage. Chlorine gas was used as a chemical weapon in World War I because of its devastating effect on respiratory tissue. While the concentration in Tilex is much lower, repeated exposure in confined spaces like bathrooms creates a cumulative toxic effect. For seniors on anticoagulants like warfarin or newer blood thinners, the stress response from chemical exposure can cause fluctuations in clotting factors. The bright white bottle with green accents looks clinical and trustworthy. The label promises to kill 99.9% of mold and mildew. It does kill surface mold, but it doesn't address the underlying moisture problem that caused the mold, meaning it grows back. Each time you spray, you're exposing yourself to both bleach and released mycotoxins again. For seniors with compromised immune systems from HIV, cancer treatment, or autoimmune disease, mycotoxin exposure can cause serious systemic infections. The spray leaves surfaces white and bright, which we associate with cleanliness. But that brightness is temporary. More importantly, the chemical residue left behind continues to off-gas. For those with chemical sensitivities or multiple chemical sensitivity syndrome, this residue can cause symptoms for days. Why do you think the FDA allows cleaning products with ingredients banned in Europe to be sold freely in the US? Isn't it strange how the same companies that make cleaning products also fund the safety studies? Who do you think they're really protecting? The first actual safe option is 7th-generation disinfecting multi-surface cleaner. Uses botanical ingredients and thymol, derived from thyme as the active disinfectant. EPA registered, third-party tested, and free from synthetic fragrances, quats, and bleach. Seniors can clean confidently without respiratory risk or chemical residue. The company maintains transparent ingredient lists and has never had a major safety recall. The gentle citrus scent comes from real essential oils, not synthetic fragrances that trigger headaches. For those managing multiple health conditions, this offers effective cleaning without adding toxic burden to your body. The formula breaks down naturally, so you're not coating your counters with persistent chemicals. Clinical testing shows it kills 99.99% of household germs without the harsh irritants found in conventional disinfectants. For seniors with asthma or COPD, this is the difference between breathing easy and struggling for air. And because it contains no phosphates or chlorine, it won't interfere with your medications or stress your kidneys. The bottle clearly lists every ingredient, so you know exactly what you're bringing into your home. Consumer reports gave it high marks for both effectiveness and safety. The thymol used as the active ingredient has been used for centuries as a natural antiseptic. It's derived from the herb thyme, and studies show it's effective against a broad spectrum of bacteria and viruses without the toxic side effects of quaternary ammonium compounds or bleach. For seniors concerned about building resistant bacteria, thymol works differently than conventional antimicrobials, making resistance less likely. The plant-based surfactants used for cleaning are derived from coconut and corn, not petroleum. This matters because petroleum-derived chemicals are more likely to cause skin irritation and allergic reactions. For those with eczema or sensitive skin, you can clean surfaces and then touch them without fear of developing rashes. The product is certified by multiple third-party organizations, including the EPA's Safer Choice program, which means it meets stringent environmental and health standards. For seniors who want to leave a cleaner planet for their grandchildren, this matters. The scent is light and dissipates quickly because it comes from essential oils rather than synthetic fragrance compounds. You won't have that lingering chemical smell that gives you headaches. The spray nozzle is designed to produce larger droplets rather than a fine mist, reducing the amount you inhale. For those with lung conditions, this simple design choice makes a significant difference in safety. The formula rinses clean with water, leaving no sticky residue. This means you're not ingesting chemicals from counters where you prepare food. For seniors managing digestive issues or those on medications that irritate the stomach, this peace of mind is invaluable. The second recommendation is Better Life Natural All-Purpose Cleaner. Plant-based formula with no harsh chemicals, safe for seniors with sensitive skin, lung conditions, or immune issues. No synthetic fragrances, dyes, or preservatives. The product is tested to ensure it leaves no harmful residue and works effectively on multiple surfaces. For seniors who want a truly clean home without the chemical cocktail, this is a trustworthy choice that won't betray your health or your trust. The clary sage and citrus scent is subtle and natural, not overwhelming like synthetic air fresheners. It cuts through grease and grime using plant-derived surfactants that rinse away completely. For those with grandchildren visiting, you can feel safe knowing they're crawling on floors cleaned with ingredients you can actually pronounce. The company is certified by Leaping Bunny for cruelty-free practices and uses recyclable packaging. Independent laboratory testing confirms zero toxic residues on surfaces after cleaning. For seniors managing heart disease, diabetes, or kidney problems, switching to Better Life means one less chemical burden on your already stressed system. And unlike conventional cleaners that can take years to break down in the environment, this formula is biodegradable within days. The plant-derived ingredients work by encapsulating dirt and grease molecules, allowing them to be wiped away without harsh solvents. This means you're not breathing in volatile organic compounds while you clean. For those with chemical sensitivities, this is life-changing. The pH is balanced to be close to neutral, around 7, which means it won't burn your skin or damage surfaces. You can clean without gloves if you choose, though gloves are still recommended for any cleaning task. The ingredients are sourced from renewable resources, primarily coconut, corn, and other plant oils. This sustainable sourcing means the environmental impact is minimal compared to petroleum-based cleaners. The formula is concentrated, so a little goes a long way. This not only saves money but also reduces plastic waste since you're buying fewer bottles over time. For seniors on fixed incomes, this economic benefit matters. The spray bottle is made from recycled plastic and is fully recyclable. The company offers refill options in some markets, further reducing waste. Better Life has never had a product recall for contamination or safety issues. Their safety record spans over a decade, providing confidence that this is a reliable choice. The cleaning power is genuine, not marketing hype. Independent testing shows it performs as well as or better than conventional cleaners on common household messes. You're not sacrificing effectiveness for safety. The clary sage essential oil used for scent also has natural antimicrobial properties, adding a layer of germ-fighting ability without harsh chemicals. For seniors worried about flu season or preventing illness, this natural protection helps. The company provides complete transparency, listing every ingredient and its purpose on their website. If you have concerns about specific ingredients, you can research them individually. This level of transparency is rare in the cleaning industry and demonstrates respect for consumer health and intelligence. Ever wondered why these two brands don't advertise as heavily as the ones that sell toxic products? These two brands represent what cleaning products should be: plant-based ingredients that break down naturally, tested rigorously for safety without animal testing, and sold with complete transparency about every ingredient. They deliver effective cleaning power without the respiratory irritation, skin burns, or organ damage that conventional cleaners cause. For those managing chronic conditions, using authentic, safe cleaning products can reduce your toxic load, minimize medication interactions, support healthy lung function, and protect your already stressed organs. The difference between toxic cleaning products and safe cleaning products isn't just about avoiding harsh chemicals or feeling better about what you buy. It's about whether the products you use daily are slowly poisoning you or supporting your health. The 11 brands we exposed are actively contributing to respiratory disease, chemical burns, liver and kidney damage, and long-term health decline. The 2 brands we recommend are actively supporting your health with safe, effective formulas. This is not a minor distinction. For seniors, it's the difference between managing your conditions successfully and watching them worsen, despite your best efforts. Cleaning product toxicity is not a new problem, and it won't be solved overnight. The supply chain is too profitable, the marketing too persuasive, and the regulatory oversight too weak for dramatic change to happen quickly. But you don't have to wait for the system to fix itself. You can take control right now by choosing brands that have proven their commitment to safety and transparency. 7th Generation and Better Life are not perfect. No mass-produced product can be. But they represent the best options currently available. They've earned their reputation through rigorous testing, transparent ingredient lists, and consistent delivery of safe, effective cleaning products. By supporting these brands, you're not just protecting your own health, you're sending a message to the industry that consumers value safety and transparency over false promises and cheap prices. The more seniors and health-conscious consumers choose safe cleaning products, the harder it becomes for toxic brands to dominate. Your health is too important to gamble on brands that have repeatedly harmed consumers, used hazardous chemicals that damage your organs, or misled you with false safety claims. The 11 brands we expose today represent billions of dollars in annual sales, built on deceptive marketing and maintained through consumer trust that's been misplaced. But now you know. You know which brands to avoid, you know what signs to look for when reading labels, and you know which brands you can actually trust. Use this knowledge every time you shop. Read ingredient lists carefully, research brands before buying, check for certifications from independent organizations, and don't be swayed by nostalgic marketing or trusted names without verification. The cleaning products you choose affect your respiratory health, your skin integrity, your organ function, and your long-term health outcomes. It's not just about having a clean house. It's about whether you're maintaining that clean house at the cost of your health or in support of it. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.